What's up? How's everybody doing? Kind of an impromptu. Kind of just wanted to test some stuff. Figured, hey, why not try it? Can you hear me okay? Oh, this didn't raise the camera. I'm here. I think.
My name is Will.
You suck!
What's up? Welcome to Lab After Dark. I'm your host, Joshua D. It's good to be here. Good to see you. I see you. I see you the same way you see me right now. We're seeing everything. Everything is everything. What comes around's all around. God bless rescue inhalers. Welcome to the show. We're doing audio only. I kind of have like a slight little migraine, like in my eye. No, I don't have a pimple. No pimple. I was on earlier. You didn't yet. Well, maybe you didn't watch me earlier. That's okay. It's a competitive world out there, folks. No, I don't have. I just have like this. It's just like this eye throb. You know, that's it. No pimple. Here, I'll even prove it. No pimple. Anyway, eat a nanner. I don't have a nanner. No pink eye. No nothing like that. No pink eye. It's just it's like a headache in my eye. God forbid. One time I told somebody, or not somebody, but during the show once, I was like, well, I kind of have I had a foot cramp, right? You know, when your foot cramps, it's painful. It's like, it's almost debilitating. Like, it feels like you could possibly, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm sure you know what I mean, though. The foot cramp is about as bad as humanly possible. It just sucks, right? And so I was saying one time to somebody that I was having one. They're like, you need to drink pickle juice if you're having foot cramp problems. I just said I didn't have a foot cramp problem. I had a foot cramp. Oh, you know what, Dumpling, don't get me started on the Eclipse. You don't want to hear what I have to say about the Eclipse. That's why I'm going to keep it to myself, which is hard for me to do sometimes, but I'll do it. Out of the interest of national security, you don't want to hear me talk about the Eclipse. My God. I mean, are we that starved for like Christopher Columbus? I remember when Christopher Columbus used an eclipse to trick a whole tribe of Native Americans that, well, I don't know if they were Native Americans, but they were, maybe they were Aztecs. I can't remember. But I remember when he did that. And like, I heard that a bunch of people are Googling today about eye stream. I didn't even look. I didn't even go outside. I didn't care. I said, if anybody asks me, did you see the eclipse? I'm going to say, go away, get away. I don't, the jokes about the eclipse, the memes, the whatever, I don't want it. Keep away from me. It's just not my thing, dude. But the sun passed in front of the moon passed in front of the sun. Oh, I heard. Trust me. I heard all about it. Oh, boy, did I hear about it. It's all I heard about for the last week and a half. The eclipse. What are you going to do for the eclipse? Hey, Josh, what are you going to do for the eclipse? I'm going to do the exact same thing that I'm doing right at this moment. And that's not thinking about it or caring about it. Oh, you're such a party pooper. Well, my idea of a party isn't the eclipse. No, I don't want to. It's not the rapture. 34 likes. I know there's very few people here watching. I understand. The show sucks, but come on. Really? Do I have to show my face to get people to watch? I guess. I always thought I was more of a radio guy myself. More of a face for radio. It's all right. Got to make a decision about this channel anyway. Or the lab. One or the other. I think one of them's probably going to have to go. And I just don't know which one. I just not sure. The eclipse. I'd more likely be. I'd probably get rid of the lab. I don't know. I would be more apt to get rid of the lab, I guess. I would think. Well, I mean, I am picking up a substantial amount of extra work. So I don't know how much time I'll be able to have. Yeah. So I'll make that decision when I kind of get forced to. What I mean by forced to is like when I really figure out if it's feasible. You know, I don't know. Nah, I'm not letting you down easy. I don't even, I'm like I said, it's not a definite. I don't even know which one. So, you know, like I said, I don't really know how much time I'll have. It's going to be, starting next week, we start the new podcast, and which is awesome. And I'm very excited about it. Very excited about it. But it's going to be a great deal of work. And that's okay. That's what the goal is. At least that's what I think. Yeah. So it's not going to be. Well, so that's another thing that I haven't even told people yet, and that probably won't be very popular either. But it's not gonna be on YouTube. I mean, this podcast won't even be on YouTube. It'll be outside of YouTube. And I know people are going to get pissed about that. I know. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's probably going to be Spotify. You'll be able to listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcast. I'm trying to think where else. It'll be very accessible. But it's just like this. It's audio only. That's all it's going to be. So, but yeah, it'll be Spotify, Apple, Google, Podcast, maybe Rumble. I don't know. Rumble, like everybody tells me that Rumble's like this, Rumble's kind of like, you kind of do whatever you want on Rumble. Nobody really cares about Rumble. Yeah, wherever you get your podcasts, it'll be very, very easy to. Josh, is this your way of saying you want to charge us 20? No. You don't. You'll be able to you'll be able to listen for free. It's not a paid podcast. It's not a it's not a subscription, or it's not a subscription. It's not a membership based podcast. And so, you know, I don't know. I really don't. It's not Patreon. It won't be anything like that. Yeah, it's free. I mean, literally everything that I do is free. You know, I mean, you can become a member if you want. You don't have to. You can watch the show. You can listen to the show. All shows. Any show. Any show that I do. You know. It's how it's always been. It's how it always will be. So no, I will not be charging $25 a month for anybody. And you know, the way that you get paid is by people watching or listening or whatever it is that people do. Depressing. It is. You know, it is kind of depressing, like taking on new ventures and letting other ones go. But like I said, I don't exactly know how much work I'm in for. And I'm in for a substantial amount of more work than Dr. Gary and Chris because, well, I mean, technically they're the talent, you know, and I'm just the producer. So how do you make money? I don't. And so it's kind of, you know, really up to me if we sink or float, I guess, you know. So it just has to be especially getting it off the ground. You have to really, I know that there's going to be substantial work. I've done this a bunch of times with a bunch of different shows, a bunch of different podcasts. Ask Linda how many audiences I've built up. It's been a lot. It's been I tend to be able to do it, but it takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. You step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, you step out of your comfort zone and you just do what, you know, you're meant to do. I mean, I've dedicated the last, I don't know, at least since 2014, 2015, since I started podcasting. So close to 10 years. And, you know, it's what I'll do. It's what I'm doing. And it's a great opportunity for all three of us. And I just have to make sure that it works. And I have to work at it. And I will. Oh, yeah. Well, I was on SoundCloud. Spotify. Man, we did so many podcasts. I remember during quarantine, we probably did, God, how many? I can't even remember. It was a lot of podcasts and a lot of days. SoundCloud is an old school streaming service. It's like the projects of the internet. It's the yeah. But that's where we started. And the only reason we did that is because we didn't know where else to put it. And there was a button that when you upload the podcast, it said send to SoundCloud. We're like, what the hell SoundCloud? Well, send it there. That's where we did it. We sent it there. And it was weird because it wasn't like very well known, but it had like a kind of a cult following. And then we shut it down, turned it back up on Spotify, and we did big numbers. Big numbers. It was fun. Everybody got married, moved away. You know, on to other things. And when that went down, I went solo. And here I am, solo podcasting. That's how I ended up here. That's how I ended up here. And from here, I would hope that I'm going somewhere else. You know, meaning, I don't know how to explain it. But change is good. New adventures are good. New opportunities are good. And you have to take them. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to work at it. And that's what I'm going to do. So, you know, like I said, between the lab and after dark, I doubt that I'd be able to put enough energy into both, or, you know, even just enough time into both. You know, and I know that people say, well, hang on to this or hang on to that or hang on to, you know, but the thing is, if I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. If I'm not going to be there, if I'm not going to do it, I'm not just going to, because it'll always be in the back of my mind. Like, it'll always be like, oh, I haven't done anything there or here, you know, and then, you know, I'm like, people have memberships or whatever. And so I would, you know, I couldn't just kind of, I just can't like let it sit out there like a buoy and do the buoy, doing buoy things, you know what I mean? Boing, boing.
My name is Will.
I'm not going to do it. I can't do it that way.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm saying. It's just how my idiot mind kind of works, you know. I'll always be like, man, but I still have this that I haven't done anything on, or, you know. Buoys are good. Yeah, if you're in the ocean, buoys are great. Matt says, if we do a final show, can we mod everyone for fun? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? A final show. A final show. Dang. That's daunting to think about. I think about it sometimes, but like I said, in one way or another, I think that I'll always broadcast. some way, somehow, I'll always broadcast. Like it's really my true, like it's what I love to do it. I really do. And I hope that people will follow over. And I know that a lot of people will. I know that there's a lot of people that support us. You know, that's great. But you know, hard decisions will be made. They got to. They have to. Like I said, I'm not the type to just leave it, kind of hanging in the wind. You know what I mean? And I won't do that. I promise. Yeah, I mean, you'd still be able to find me, follow me, whatever. You really would, and even if that means that me going to just like a daily podcast somewhere else, back to Spotify, back to Apple Podcast. It really just depends where it heads and kind of the success of the witness box, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be very, very interesting to see. No, Michael. For now, I don't think McDonough has any plans of getting rid of the interview room. I think he only does shows on Sunday right now anyway. So no, I don't. Why won't it also be on YouTube? Because it's an audio kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have all those details yet. Hopefully, I'll have them at some point in life. But as of now, between what's today, I don't even know what today is. Is it like? Yeah. See, it's already early Wednesday. We start recording on Monday. That's like less than a week away. So like 1 week from today, we're supposed to have our first podcast produced. 1 week from today. And just sitting here telling you that sounds friggin' impossible. Like, I'm like, how the hell are we going to do that? But guess whose job it is to make sure it happens? That would be me. So I got a lot of work to do. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I want it to do good. I want to, turn out a good product. And, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. 1 week. So, like 1 week from today, if everything goes down, the way that it's supposed to, we'll have a brand new first podcast, the pilot, next week. 1 week from today. Like I said, I have, as sitting here right now telling you that seems impossible, but somehow it's going to come together. I know it will. It just still feels, it just feels we got some stuff to do. And as I was going over my checklist, I just started to realize that we're running out of time. We got to get it done. So that'll be good. I'm excited. Very excited. But like I said, I don't exactly know. Look, this could, what could happen is it could be easy. It could be, everybody could be so on top of it that my job is easy. Or and it would affect nothing. Or it could be a struggle. Kind of learn as you go, and then, But I do think that it will go good. I really do. And I'm excited about that. Ava, what's the first topic going to be? I don't know. I'm not really responsible for guests. I just kind of show up. You know what I mean? I just kind of show up. So, couldn't tell you. Who's Chins? Who does Chins? Oh, China. I don't know. I think that's TikTok. You're thinking of TikTok. Chins. But yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. But it's gonna take work, like everything. So why not? Just do it. I like to do it, and getting to work with Like the kind of guests that will probably be on the show will probably, I mean, are people that I have absolutely zero business associating with because they're just, top-notch people. Like, what am I going to say to Ann Burgess? I don't know. I don't know what I'll say to her. I'll definitely have to introduce her. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to say. It's like she's a legend, She's one of the greats. Yeah, hi, Ann. That's what I'll say. How you doing, Ann? How you doing? And so on and so forth. I'm just saying that most of the guests will probably be pretty, and I don't think even every week we're going to have guests. Like I said, this is a I don't know, this territory. It's different. I'm telling you, it's going to be something. Hey, Dr. B. Ann Burgess. Doctor. Does she wear a scarf? Yeah, I know that they put their pants. I'm not saying like I'd be starstruck. I'm just saying that like these they're intellectuals. They're from academia. Yeah. That's all I mean by that. They're very they're just quick. They're quick people. They're smart. They know what they're talking about. No F's and stuff. Yeah. They're just very intelligent. That's all I mean by that. Not that I'm like, oh my, it's just like sometimes I start thinking about stuff like, is 7-Eleven going to get their hot dog machine fixed anytime soon? And then you come back to reality and you go, oh, crap. What happened? That's not top-notch producer stuff. That's Joshy fat ass stuff, Like, like the other day, so, and the last experience that I had with said hot dog machine, the last time, and they're cheap, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. You can literally get like 6 hot dogs and a drink for, I don't know, 87 cents. Just depends on how long the dogs have been in the case. And so, but they have the little condiment display, right? And it had this little like Wisconsin, like it was in a, what was it? It was in a green, it had like something, it said Wisconsin. Right. And I thought what was in the condiment packet was cheese, like liquid cheese. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to put liquid cheese on a hot dog. And it was, so anyway, and it was the one hot dog I was really excited about because it was like jalapeno cheddar flavored. And that was the last of the I Am Legend Will Smith. There was nothing left. of those. Last of its kind. Last of the Mohicans. Great movie. And so I get out to my car. I got my little hot dog thing. You know, that little recycled, checkered, little lovely encasement, you know, that they give you. And I was gonna put liquid cheese on this thing. And it was ranch. Wasn't liquid cheese at all. It was ranch from a packet. I've never seen that. I've never seen individual, like I've seen the cups, but I've never seen it in like a, but I've also never seen like liquid cheese in that either. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that. Why I thought it was liquid cheese is because it said Wisconsin. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, isn't Wisconsin known for their cheese and not their ranch? That's my question. Because I got bamboozled. I got sold a bill of goods. It didn't clearly on the package say ranch. It said Wisconsin. And I was like, all right, cheese. But it wasn't cheese. No, it wasn't cheese. Certainly was not cheese. It was ranch on my hot dog, my cheddar jalapeno gas station hot dog. So what I'm trying to tell you is I got things that I'm thinking about sometimes. And I just can't bring that stuff up. You know what I mean? I wish I could. I can't. And so I got to suppress that kind of stuff. I don't know where Hidden Valley is, but it ended up on my hot dog. I knew that somebody was going to ask if I ate it. And I'd rather say. I mean, it was a jalapeno cheddar hot dog. What do you want from me? What do you want? I mean, what do you want? It was the last jalapeno cheddar hot dog. And why I was going to put more cheese on that son of a bitch, I don't know why, but I was going to put more cheese on it. You would have to have some of the greatest willpower known to man. But I won't say for certain if I did or if I didn't, because I blacked out for a minute, so it's possible that I didn't, but most likely I did. Yes, it's hard to shoot down a hot dog. A jalapeno cheddar hot dog. It's hard to shoot down. Now, I know that this isn't going to do anything good for my reputation. They go, oh, he's talking about food again. Frig off. I talk about what I want. I like gas station hot dogs. I know. I probably like them more than corn dogs. I mean, but what do you want from me? I'm just a human. Michael, they sell corn dogs too. No more gas station food. It's bad for you. Yeah, I get it, but just like Matlock, I get it. I understand that it's not good for you. That's immaterial. That doesn't really, I mean, everything, like I've noticed, and I'm sure most of you have noticed that, but everything that's good for you sucks and everything that's bad for you is awesome. That's how I know that this world is sick. Like, I remember the first time I heard about death by chocolate, and I was thinking, my God. Death by chocolate? Is that necessary? And of course, it's delicious. And if you eat too much of it, it will kill you. No question. Has anybody ever heard of death by chocolate? Or am I the only one? Did I just make up that? Did I make that up? Because I've had it. And it was good. But I've only had it one time. Death by chocolate. I remember, I was like, is that necessary? Like, is that name necessary? You know what I'm saying, True Crime Utah. Is that necessary? Necessary?
My name is Will.
No, it's not necessary. Of course not.
Chunky chomp.
Necessary.
Chunky chomp.
And I just, sometimes I would just go like, It is necessary. Is it to die for though? For like, is it really like that? Like, it's that legit? I don't know. I've never had it. I'm just kidding. It's good. But I've only had it the one time. I don't like the name of it. I don't like the name of Death by Chocolate. Speaking of death, I was reading about this guy. What was his name? Anyway, he just got executed in Mississippi the other day. And like 70 guards or something like that. They said 70 corrections officers wrote to the governor that his life should be spared because he was fully reformed. I was thinking, huh? Fully reformed? It's just somehow the article turned him into the victim. Drove me nuts, so I had to get some Death by Chocolate. You believe that? So weird. 70 prison guards. That's a lot. What do you think about that? You think that if a double person that is convicted of double homicide, been on death row for 18 years, double homicide, and then did terrible things to the the corpse of the woman while she was deceased with her kids in the next room. Fully reformed. Like, what? How's that a thing? I found that interesting. Let me see. All right, here it is. I'll play it for you for a second.
Today, Missouri is set to carry out its first execution of the year. It's happening in less than 12 hours.
Our Megan Curtin joins us now live in downtown St. Louis with the fight in the courts ahead of tonight's execution. Megan?
Rennie and Michelle, as Brian Dorsey's case continues to get national attention.
Why? I don't know.
Demonstrators will gather here for him at 3 o'clock, and they'll also be outside of the prison in St. Francis County, where his execution is set to take place tonight. Now, right now, Dorsey's good behavior record is still pending before the U.S. Supreme Court. Last Friday, the Missouri Supreme Court denied a stay of execution, and yesterday, Governor Mike Parson denied clemency. Dorsey is convicted of killing his cousin Sarah Bonney and her husband in 2006 in New Bloomfield, just north of Jefferson City. He then sexually assaulted Sarah's body as their 4-year-old daughter slept in another room, according to prosecutors. Now, Dorsey's attorneys claim he was going through a drug-induced psychosis during the crime and was trying to borrow money from his victims. Family members of both Dorsey and the victims spoke about the impending execution.
You know, that's supposed to be God's decision, not ours.
Brian's executed, I'm going to be heartbroken. Because I just don't. I just don't understand how anyone or God or the powers that be, your fate, or whatever is running this world could allow that special light to be extinguished.
Who the hell is she talking about?
You know, that's supposed to be God's decision, not ours.
Brian's executed, I'm going to be heartbroken.
That's supposed to be
What did
God's
she say?
decision, not ours.
Brian's executed, I'm going to be heartbroken.
If Brian's executed,
I
I'm
just
gonna be
don't.
heartbroken. I don't even know who that lady is. Night, Gwen.
I just don't understand how anyone or God or the powers that be, your fate, or whatever is running this world could allow that special light to be extinguished.
Special light. You mean the guy that's the double murderer?
Now, Dorsey's clemency petition for good behavior was supported by about 70 Missouri correctional officers who lived with him and worked with him. Dorsey is set to be given the lethal injection at 6 p.m. tonight.
70 corrections officers wrote a note to the governor to not have him executed.
And Bon Terre.
And by the way, he got executed. He go. I don't feel bad for him. I'm sure he was a really nice guy after he went to prison. It's like, what is wrong with people? It's like insanity, dude. It's crazy. That is wild. He go. I mean, did you hear what he did? Did you hear what he did? Yeah, I heard. I just listened. He go. You heard what he did. I heard what he did. Not good. Not good at all. But honestly, like they could have 100, 200, 300 corrections officers could have written in. It still wouldn't matter. Doesn't matter how good he is. Oh, he's on good behavior. He's been on good behavior. That's because he doesn't want to ride the lightning, bro. That's the point. You think that he was being good for goodness sake? Oh, you better watch it. No, he wasn't being good just to be good. He was trying to stay alive. How dumb can they be? Like, oh man, we'll write a letter for you. Just be good and bring joy to people. He's a good man. I don't know, man. I don't think so. Not from where I'm standing. Not from where I'm standing. It's like, I don't know. I'll probably get struck for this, but I'm going to play it anyway.
And we're following breaking news in
Listen
Missouri.
to this.
A death row inmate who garnered a lot of support.
And of course, it is in BC.
Clemency was executed just over an hour ago.
Yeah, he died tonight.
Brian Dorsey pled guilty
Give
to 2
me
counts of first-degree murder for the
time.
killing of his cousin and her husband, Sarah and Ben Bonnie, back in 2006. He filed several appeals throughout the years against his death sentence, including...
Of course he did. Guess who didn't get to file appeals? The people he killed.
all the way up to the U.S.
He go.
Supreme Court. Missouri Governor Mike Parson denied his last-minute effort for clemency.
God bless him.
Last night, despite letters from dozens of former and current correctional officers who called Dorsey a, quote, model inmate.
Well, he should have been a model citizen. Model inmates, it's a little too late.
And asked the governor to spare his life. The governor said no.
Hell no.
Governor Parson said in a statement that the pain Dorsey brought can never be rectified.
Yeah, buddy.
And carrying out his death sentence will deliver justice and closure. In his final statement earlier today, Dorsey expressed his apologies over the murders and thanked those who tried to stop his execution. He wrote in part, quote, "To all those on all sides of this sentence, I carry no ill will or anger, only acceptance and understanding."
So he doesn't, to my family and friends and all those that have tried to prevent this, I love you. I am grateful for you. So let me see.
NBC News legal analyst Angela Sinadella joins me now with more. So,
Triggered people can change. Oh, are you saying I triggered you, Gail? I'm sorry if I did that. Yeah, people sure can change, and that's fine. But sometimes it's a little late, right? Don't you think? I mean, you don't think that he should have to pay for his crimes? I think that he got 18 extra years. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just somebody that, I don't know. I've had a family member murdered. I feel different.
Angela, walk us through this, because one of the things that made a lot of people...
I'm sure he can change.
Look at this case maybe differently or just a little closer than other controversial or high
But thank you. I appreciate the super chat.
profile death
Thank you, Gail.
executions was the fact that so many correctional officers were saying, hey, wait, don't do this. What made this different or unique, at least in some aspects, prior to him being executed?
Yes, that's exactly right. That was really the most
Matt said, what does it say here? I just looked it up. His last meal was 2 cheeseburgers, chicken strips, fries, a pizza. Oh my God. Well,
extraordinary part of this whole process. How often do you have 70 corrections officers, I think even north of that, writing on paper that this man was not only a model inmate, but was also fully rehabilitated? So
fully rehabilitated. I mean, how would a corrections officer know that?
that's the crux of this issue.
I mean, I get it. They're around him all the time. Yeah, he's on good behavior.
When you philosophically look at even what the proponents of the death penalty are saying, they even tend to want to reserve these cases to those where the defendant can.
Like, didn't Ted Bundy say that he repented for his sins and crimes too?
Really never be rehabilitated. But here we have a defendant who everyone is saying has been fully rehabilitated over the decade plus that he was behind bars. And that at that point, when he committed the murders, that he was under a drug-induced psychosis.
Right. Drug-induced psychosis.
But was fully over that, was fully cured, and was frankly
He's fully over that and fully cured. How'd their wounds turn out?
just almost bringing joy behind bars to other inmates and to the officers. So at that point, you do wonder then, well, what is the point of the death penalty if it does result in something like this?
Well, so I think a lot of people think, Gail, there's a lot of people that are not death penalty people, and I completely respect people feel that way. I really do, because I know that there are a lot of people who are not pro death penalty, and that's fine. But like I said, as somebody who has lost a family member to murder, it just makes me feel different. That's it. I feel very different about it. And it's not about teaching a lesson. It's not about, this is, my opinion, but it's not about teaching a lesson. It's not about trying to prevent somebody from committing. I mean, I guess that it, in some sort of way, people think that because, like, I saw a bumper sticker one time that said, why do we kill people who kill people to teach people that killing's wrong? And I don't think it's about teaching other people anything. It's about what that person has done. It's not about what he does after. It's what he did at the time. He could, I don't know, he could be a saint for the rest of his life. But that doesn't change anything. He had no right to do what he did. And what he did was extremely egregious. And he could be sorry, and he could say sorry, and he could do all those things. It just doesn't matter to me.
Yes.
But that's just me.
Looking just at the big picture of death penalty, all of the EU countries, they have abolished the death penalty. The U.S., I believe, is the only country in the Americas that still has the death penalty in the capacity that we have to.
I think Iran has the death penalty, but they're not in America. I think Iran, China. Yeah, I think that you kind of just forfeit your right to live. That's how I felt. I love you too.
day. And then just looking
Gail, you know,
at some stats from the Death Penalty Information Center, 70% of countries, they say, have abolished the death penalty. The majority of death penalty executions for civilians and crimes, it comes from just a handful of countries: the U.S., China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. When you
not keeping good company there, but wow.
Look at what's happening in Missouri. Do you think we're starting to see a shift in what has been for many, many years a highly contentious debate? But does it seem like the tide might be turning here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really seems like it's turning because, you know, they just killed him.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say that it's been happening for a while, but it's cases like this that really spotlight the opposition to it. Because again, as I said earlier, even the proponents of the death penalty in a case...
This lady, she's a legal analyst. Her name is Angela Sindella. I could bet you that Angela, now I'm just speculating, has never lost a family member or a friend, a close personal friend, for that matter, to a violent crime. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. I don't think I am.
Case like this, when the defendant has seemingly been fully rehabilitated, is left with the question, well, then what is the point if it's possible a prison system could work? If the prison system could actually reform this individual, then is a death penalty still required?
The other day I was watching, like Gunsmoke was coming on. Gunsmoke. And there was a disclaimer before Gunsmoke that said, and no, this is not the last episode of Lab After Dark. Just, I saw somebody say that earlier. This is not the last episode. The problem is, Josh, is there are false imprisonments. If they had the death penalty in England, Birmingham 6 and Guilford would have been put to death, and they were all innocent. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but so what? We just stop. We stop all people from getting consequences because, I mean, like, I get it. I understand. I get the reasons why, but to me, they're not enough to like. This dude has admitted. I mean, it's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt what he did. You know, I mean, he's not false. This guy's not falsely imprisoned. You know what I mean? So there's that. But I get it. I understand. And I do think, so my thing with the death penalty is that it should be applied evenly, meaning there are so many stipulations and so many stays and so many this and that's, and it's just not, it's not applied evenly. So you either do it that way or get rid of it. It's one or the other. That's it. These crimes were crazy. Crazy.
So, yes, the movement has been going strong. Public opinion has certainly waned against the death penalty. So I think
Who is she speaking for?
we're going to see more states in the future getting rid of it.
Yeah. You think so? Is that what you think? I doubt. I mean, do you think Texas is going to be getting rid of the death penalty? You think Texas is going to get rid of it? You think Oklahoma, Missouri, California has a death penalty? They haven't used it in a long time, but you think Alabama is getting rid of it? I don't think so. That's just a guess. Yeah, Florida. I've lost faith in Florida though. When Nicholas Cruz, like if there was any person, I've said this and I'll say it again. If there's one person in this world that deserved the death penalty, it was Nicholas Cruz. And because of one, and they changed now the laws changed, but they've changed the law. But if there was any person that, oh my gosh, it was made for him. You know? One juror held that up. One juror held that up, bro. 11 people and one. Now, Florida has since changed that, but you don't get to go exo facto pacto or whatever it is that they call it. You know, you don't get to unring the bell. You don't get to rewind and do it over again. It's just not how that works. But I wish you could. Dogs with jobs, good to see you. Anyway, the Bonanza thing, I wanted to tell you about this, or Gunsmoke. So there's a disclaimer now on Gunsmoke that says the lifestyle or something like that depicted in this show is antiquated way of living or something like that. I'm going, it's Gunsmoke, for God's sakes. It's the Wild West. No shit. Does that really need to be said? Like, seriously. That's how I know I'm getting old, when stuff like that pisses me off. And it shouldn't even piss me off. I should just be like, whatever, I expect it. But like, now I'm like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Not get mad about that? Yeah, I swear it was a disclaimer. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, Gunsmoke's one of the most wholesome shows you could ever. But he stole a horse, so they killed him. Well, yeah, that was the law. Don't steal a horse. Oh, he needed a horse. Well, not really, because you're not allowed to steal them. It's ridiculous. Lunacy. Whoa, whoa. There's a man who openly shot a police officer in Philly back in the 70s and is sitting on death row. They even allowed him to have his own radio show from prison. Many Hollywood people back him up. Well, good thing that we don't care about Hollywood. Like Kim Kardashian, she goes and she sticks her nose in death penalty cases all the time. And by the way, she's never stopped one. Thank God. Like, I remember she wrote a letter to because she was very familiar with the case and pulled at her heartstrings. And, you know, the guy was 19 when he did it. You know, he put two people in the trunk and set it on fire. And those people, you know, he's become a good father since then. And and you're going, wait a minute. Are you talking about the guy that shot a couple people, put him in the trunk, set it on fire? What you're talking? That's who you're talking about. Then when the autopsy was done, they had smoke inhalation because they weren't gone. Right. Right. Yeah, you just going, what the hell is that? They're all in trouble with the Diddy thing. They're all weird. They should all be in trouble. But, yeah, I get, and here's the thing, I guess, and I do understand that people are against the death penalty, but very rarely do you come across somebody who has been, whose a family member has been victimized from a crime resulting in death, and them being against the death penalty. I'm sure that it has happened or does, but it's not often. Trust me. And I've met a lot of people that have had have been victims of crimes like that. It's overwhelmingly, people are overwhelmingly pro DP. So, it's just one of those things, you just, from the outside looking in, like that plea deal thing with James Brenner and Dylan Rounds' case, that pissed me off. And like, I am happy for the family but like that the guy just, there's no decency in him. Not that there was to begin. It really bothered me, but really, really bothered me. Yeah, the Innocence Project. Everybody, for some reason, people have a very high opinion of the Innocence Project, but I don't really think they defend anybody that's innocent, And I've had dealings with the Innocence Project. I'm not a huge fan. There's a lot of people that they could defend that are innocent, but they seem to choose these high-profile cases that tend to generate more, like everybody else does. But like, there are actual innocent people in prison, like legit innocent people. And Scott Peterson's not one of them, and I don't want to hear it. I'm not gonna argue with you about it either. Guy's not innocent, just not. The L.A. Innocence Project, Scott Peterson, whatever. Is that like the most ridiculous thing? He's crazy. Scott Peterson. We got a lot of other suspects lying around here, guys. I mean, it's the craziest thing. There are people that think he's innocent. The guy was fishing in the same bay his wife floated up in 4 months after she goes missing. The day she goes missing, he was in the bay in a boat. Exactly, Rebecca. The guy dyed his hair orange. One of the most iconic mugshots you'll ever see is Scott Peterson when he friggin' he beat himself over the head with a bottle of peroxide. He had like 3 IDs and a bunch of cash. He was going to Mexico. It's crazy. He made cinder blocks. Cinder blocks. He made his own cinder blocks. It's freaking nuts, dude. Like, yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, it's I don't mean to laugh about it because it's a terrible case, but it's laughable that people fully believe in his innocence. Like, his aunt is a psycho, and she's got a whole war room dedicated to like proving his innocence. And you like look at it and you're going, you gotta friggin' screw loose. But if you were my aunt, I'd love you if I was Scott Peterson. But from where I'm sitting, you look batshit. And there's just no getting around that. Scott Peterson. Innocent. Like OJ, right? OJ's innocent too. OJ's DNA. I mean, yeah, he had his brother's ID. He said he was going golfing. He beat himself over the head with a bottle of peroxide. So, honestly, the most iconic mugshot I've ever seen. When they brought him into court and his jumpsuit matched his hair. Of course OJ did it. The DNA was like over 9 billion to 1 that it was. There was, you'd have to leave. You'd have to go out into the universe to see if there were other planets of people, because nobody else had those had his DNA markers. You would literally have to go discover a new planet to find somebody that could possibly be mistaken, that they intergalactically maneuvered to Earth, committed the murder, and then went back to their planet and framed OJ. You know. Like, that's crazy. It's just nuts. Yeah, he got away with it. He got away with it in a major way. He's still getting away with it. He's one of those people that he's still looking for the real killer too. Thank God. Thank God he's on the case. Why was he riding down the freeway in the Bronco threatening to off himself? Innocent people don't do that. They just don't. OJ was then you had the Mark Furman guy, the they labeled him racist. You know, you knew that race would come into it. And the funny thing about O.J. Simpson is he doesn't really I mean, he's black, but he doesn't really consider himself black. He considers himself O.J. He's said that before. You know, O.J.'s better than everybody. Kimberly Race, yeah, he probably wanted to off himself because he was in a Ford. Yeah, that makes sense. If Ellie found Lacey's DNA in the back of that van and people saw her walking their dog, that could be the reason for mistrial, but that strawberry shortcake lady lying so she could be a juror. Well, the thing was, they didn't want to call any of those witnesses anyway. They certainly. I remember hearing about they didn't want to call those witnesses to the stand because they weren't reliable. But it's just like, I mean, the guy already got his death sentence overturned. He should be happy about that. But the LA Innocence Project, they're like, oh God, here we go. What new DNA do they have? They don't have any. They don't have any. I mean, the guy has appealed and appealed and appealed. Bring your evidence. And he doesn't have any. His evidence is that he's guilty. That's him and OJ. They could have gone golfing together. I wish OJ would have dyed his hair. That would have been sick. That way they could have been like brothers, like the dyed hair. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to test it, but their DNA's not in there. I mean, but come on. They're testing the DNA from the van. They're always doing something like that. Like the West Memphis 3. The shoelaces. We're going to retest the shoelaces. Oh, it's degraded so much. Now let's test just this. Yeah, well, so I don't know about the LA Innocence Project, but I heard that they're not like officially with the Innocence Project, which I could care less, but that doesn't really matter because the only reason that they're doing this is because it's high profile. It's the same reason YouTubers sit online all day and talk about trending cases instead of telling you about the hot dogs from the gas station. There's not much money in that. You know what I mean? There's not a huge audience for it. I'm surprised that there's as many people here as there are at the moment, but that's what they're doing. They just go after a high profile case. They're taking a bunch of money. They'll get their little organization kicked off. Scott will sit in jail. He'll never get out. You know. They'll test the van and test it again. Judge already told them, no new trial. What's your new evidence? We don't have any new evidence. You don't have any new evidence? No, we don't. Why not? Well, because he did it. So there's not going to be any like evidence that exonerate you. Yeah, Callie, you know, the reason I think the reason that they did that was like they wanted him to take a poly and all that stuff. And by the way, like his house smelled like bleach and shit. And it was just like he was messing with law enforcement. So they're just like, you know what? Cali Dime, I say, you know, it's like the West, to me, it's like the West Memphis 3 case. If they truly are innocent, they're the most unlucky people I've ever heard of in my life. With the stars aligned against them. And I get people to this day that still, you know, and I'm going, I don't know a case better than the West Memphis 3. That was my first case that I just went like I read the transcripts of the trial. I had no doubt. Same thing with and they were found guilty and you know and all that stuff, but same thing with Scott because they are guilty. Substantial evidence in both cases. And like I said, circumstantial evidence is good stuff. It's the best. So, it's interesting. But, yeah, Scott sucks. He's just a douche, too. He really is. He's a douche nozzle. Like, just an absolute douche. And you know it's funny, and people always talk about like things turning into a circus on YouTube. I think the Scott Peterson thing was before YouTube, and it's like the biggest circus of all time. I witnessed it. I witnessed the circus come to town because I was in Modesto when she went missing, and then the suspicions of Scott started. And I'd never seen so many trucks with satellite dishes on them. It was clustered. It was just getting out of the city onto the freeway to go home was a pain in the ass. They were everywhere. Independent journalists. Dateline. Friggin'. Oh my God. Every news station from California and others. Nancy Grace showed up in town. It was nuts. I saw it with my own eyes. And the funny thing, well, I say the funny thing is, and I didn't give one shit. I just wanted to go home. I didn't know anything about it. JLR may have been there. Yes. I can't confirm. He may have been in jail at the time or prison, but he may have been there, yes. Nancy does hate Scott more than anything. And she hates Casey Anthony, too. That's another one. Casey Anthony. I know that case extremely well. Casey Anthony. Dude, she is. She despises that guy. Teaser. Her document. Yeah, what's up, Maud? Yeah, her document. She's a joke. She's just a bad person. She's sick. Yeah, Michael Jackson. Yeah. I remember I was in a cell phone store when they were reading off the verdict for Michael Jackson. And there were these two brothers owned this shop. They were called the Bobs. And I don't know why they called them the Bobs, but that's what they called them. I think it was like from Office Space, something like that. But anyway, they were like reading it off, and like one by one was like not guilty, and he's like, son of a bitch, they gotta let this sick. I mean, he was like screaming, like, oh man. Just like Mary Shields. What if? Yeah, Top Mom. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that big time. What is that? What do you got? What cellar are you talking about, or bunker? I don't know. What case are you talking about? A lot of people don't like Nancy Grace, but a lot of people do. I don't think she gives a damn either way. She's something, dude. I don't mind her. She's just, that's how she is, man. I've seen interviews with her. She's a prosecutor at heart. Daybell, yeah. Isn't that starting? I don't know that much about that case. It's just depressing. Yeah, she likes to fight with her panel. What's tomorrow? Top Mom. She can be, but that's just kind of her thing. That's what she does. Oh, the trial starts tomorrow. Yeah, okay. That'll be, because I know that you have Karen Reed trial will be interesting because and then you have Delphi. That'll be interesting. Although he already confessed over the phone. There are people that think he's going to get off. I don't think there's a chance. And then I don't know. I don't know much about the Karen Reed case, but I think she's guilty. I think everybody's guilty mostly. Not always, but yeah, he's guilty. He sneezed, guilty. Stubbed his toe, guilty. Guilty. I thought I don't know. OJ's guilty. Right. Scott Peterson's guilty. Casey Anthony's guilty. Guilty. They're all guilty, dude. All of them. You guys have a good night.
My name is Will.
You suck! Rhinoceros.
This was a good show. I mean, it was a good show. It really was.
My name is Will.
Sucker nothing.
Rhinoceros.
You suck!